Guys, welcome to my first YouTube video ever. I'm super excited about this. I've been wanting to do YouTube for such a long time, but honestly, I've never had the courage. I've never had the the guts to actually do it, but now I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm ready. Like, this is the time to do it. So yeah, this is what we're here to do. I'm gonna be talking about my dad a lot in this video because I'm going to finally see my dad after 14 years. Girl, are you shook? I'm shook. I did go on Instagram and I did a poll on what makeup looks would you guys like me to do while I do this. A lot of you guys had said it was between the blonde makeup or like the blonde one. I think I'm gonna do the blonde look. Disclaimer before I get into this video, I do want to say that everything that I say in this video is my personal experience in terms of how I grew up and just my point of view of everything. So I just want you guys to hear my part of the story, just so you guys can have an idea of why it's been so long that I haven't seen my dad, why he got deported. If you guys want to hear more from my mom's side of the story or my dad's side of the story, please let me know in the comments, just so I can just share their story, because not only am I the firstborn, but I'm trying to break generational trauma in my life, and what other way to do it than to start with my family. I wrote notes because I didn't want anyone to feel confused. My mind goes everywhere, so sometimes it's very hard for me to say a story or tell a story without it being in order, so I did have to write notes. I wrote a lot of notes just because I want to get my point across of everything. So let's get right into it. My mom met my dad when she was 16, and then my dad lied to her and said that he was 17, but in reality my dad was 19. And also, my dad is a Libra, my mom is a Virgo. So it says a lot. If you're into astrology as much as I am, girl, yes, it says a lot. The way my parents met. My mom and dad met because, so my grandma, which is my mom's mom, was friends with my dad, and they live in the same apartment complex. So my mom would go visit my grandma, and which is her mom, and they, you know how in apartments, when someone throws a party, everyone from the apartment goes? That's how they met, at a party. My mom explained it more like it was love at first sight type of vibes. I'm sure my dad was like, this girl is cute, I'm gonna get at her, and yeah, they got together. My mom and dad, they were happy. They started dating, and they would go out, and they wanted to get married. And then they got married in 1995. Ooh, that sounds old, a long time ago, but it wasn't that long, but it was long ago. But keep in mind, my dad is an immigrant. My mom was born here. This is all just so you guys can get an idea of, I want you guys to map out the picture. My mom was a Chicana. My dad was a Salvadorian immigrant. From what I understand is that when they got married, that's when my dad was kind of exposed to alcohol. Prior to that, my dad didn't drink, nothing of that sort. My mom wasn't a party girl. She was more looking for I'm trying to settle down type of vibes. The day of their wedding, my dad was exposed to alcohol. He was very happy that they were gonna get married, but again, my dad's an immigrant, so his parents weren't able to be there. The only people my dad had were his brothers, which are my uncles, and he had, I believe, 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken, 4 of them. They were the only ones there. He didn't have his mom, his dad, his family. It's sad. Imagine getting married and not having your parents there, especially my dad was so close to his family. It sucks. And back then, I feel most of our parents didn't understand depression, anxiety, talking about their feelings, especially a man. No, they were not doing that. They were not pouring out their hearts and how they felt. They would just suck it up, and no one around them would do that either. So now we live in a completely different world where it's if you're going through something, you're going to talk about it. I feel like for guys, and if you're a guy watching this, please mistake me if I'm wrong, but now it's different. Like, you can call your friend and be like, hey bro, like, I'm not feeling good, like, you know, I've just been going through a whole bunch of shit. And, you know, I feel like as girls, we've always been very we're emotional creatures, but we know how to express our emotions in ways that get the point across. Yeah, my dad was just sad on his wedding day, but also very, very happy. And when you're happy, you drink. And there's a party going on celebrating their marriage. Once they get married, they have, you know, they're starting to live their life. They have an apartment together, blah, blah, blah. They're looking into having kids. They're starting to plan kids. Like, they wanted to start a family. My mom and dad had me in December 1998, so that makes me a Capricorn. If you're a Capricorn, shout out to you. Comment down below. Capricorn gang. Once I was born, the drinking on my dad's side started to become more and more. There was toxicity in the relationship, not only on his end, but her end as well. There's always two sides of every story, and I feel like when you're in a toxic relationship, it takes two to tango. In some situations, it could be one that's the toxic one and then the other one that's not the toxic one. But in those situations, if you're not toxic, you gotta go. If you're the toxic person, you need to seek help. And it's not a bad thing to ask for help. Like, asking for help is not bad. Like, do it. Trust me, it'll save you so much in the long run. Not the fan. And my dad started going out a lot. Like, going to the clubs, like going out to drink on the weekends. He would go out and leave my mom home alone with me. So back then, there wasn't phones like how we have now. Back then, it was more like landlines, I want to say. That's what my mom said, like landlines. So like you would have to like, you can't like go on social media, or like find out their location and stuff like that. So it was like crazy. She would get stuff like, oh, so-and-so, he's over here doing this and that. And my mom was like, crazy. Just imagine, like, your man's out drinking and you just had a kid. For those of you who don't know, I have another brother. He's a year younger than me. So once my mom and dad started, like, they were just going through it, you know, like, he was on his rampage and my mom was trying to like get her family together, even though, you know, it wasn't coming together. She was trying, you know. You don't know until you're in that situation, like, fuck, what do I do? Like, what do I do? So then, oh my god, this part is crazy, guys. Like, I feel like this whole, it's like a movie. So my dad was, I guess, planning to go to a trip to El Salvador. I'm pretty sure it was to just go be with his family because he just got married. He just had a kid. Like, none of his parents are here. Like, he wanted to go back. Like, he missed his family. And my mom had begged him not to go. Like, please don't go. Like, don't go to El Salvador. Like, at least wait when it's my first birthday. Wait when it's her first birthday. Like, just don't go. Blah, blah, blah. And my dad, he's a Libra, so stubborn. When he says no, no is no, babe. Like, so my mom had, I guess, said, like, well, if you leave, our relationship's gonna change. And my dad didn't care, you know, when you're mentally not there. Like, you don't care about anyone. You're not thinking logically. Mind you, when this is all happening, they're in their early 20s. I'm in my early 20s. And if you're probably watching this, you're in your early 20s. We don't know what the fuck is going on. We don't know what is going on. Like, we're literally, like, trying to figure out ourselves. And it's bonkers. Like, it's really crazy. So, whatever. He ends up leaving. And I guess the day before my dad left, they conceived my brother. And my mom found out she was pregnant 2 weeks after my dad had already left to El Salvador to go visit his family. She gives a phone call to my dad like, hey, I'm pregnant. So when are you coming back? My dad was like, ain't no way you're pregnant by my baby. Like, ain't no way. You're cheating on me. Like, you're a cheater. My mom was not cheating. But you could just think of it, like, try to think of it from his perspective. Like, ain't no way, you know? So, whatever. Then my dad comes back 5 months after leaving El Salvador. So my mom was already like 5 months pregnant. and he came back from El Salvador. That's when their relationship changed a lot. For me, I was so little, like at this point I don't know what's going on, like I'm still clueless. I was around like 5 or 6 years old. That's when I kind of started to know what was going on in my house. Their relationship was so rocky. My brother was born in 2000, and again, still rocky. Relationship wasn't the best, but I'll give you this, my dad, he still went to work. He didn't miss a day of work. He went to work. He provided money for us. He made sure that we had a roof over our head. Like, my dad made sure that we were okay, even though he was doing all this other stuff. Like, one thing I will give my dad, like, he was there financially for us. He did what he had to do, like, made sure his kids were okay, you know? They still continue to stay together till 2003. At this time, I'm already like 4 years old. Towards 2003, my mom and dad ended up splitting, but they still lived in the same roof. So they still lived together, but they weren't together. So it was really hard. But they still lived in the same roof. And like I said, I didn't start noticing stuff until like I was 5 or 6. So I started peeping stuff, like in terms of their relationship being toxic. And when you're that small and you start seeing stuff like that, you don't, like, who do you tell? All I remember happening in my house is like, las cosas que ves en la casa se quedan en la casa. What that means is like, what happens in our house stays in our house. If you know me and you went to school with me, you know I was always that bitch. I was always like, good morning, rise and shine. The birds are out. Like, I was loud. I was always happy. I was always cheerful. But I think that was just like my coping mechanism for what was going on. But I just feel like I have this, my soul is so soulful. Every time I walk into the room, I brighten the room up. Even if it's the stickiest situation, like I always try to figure out a way to make it not that and just like have people laugh. I've always been like that. So in that time, like I was still going to school, just having fun, trying to be a kid, but also like since I was the oldest, I was worried. Like I was always worried, like this is going on in my house, blah, blah, blah. But again, las cosas que pasan en la casa se quedan en la casa. Like I wasn't supposed to say anything. So then my mom and dad ended up separating, and he ended up moving to like renting out a room in Los Angeles. So like he would rent out a room in like this big house in LA. We ended up staying in that like apartment that my dad previously lived with us, and they began co-parenting. Like, so on the weekends I would go with my dad's house, and it was, guys, going to my dad's house on the weekends was literally so much fun. Like, it was the best time of me being a kid. Like, I just remember going, playing with my cousins. We would go over their house, we would play, we would laugh. Like, it was just the best time ever. Like, you know, my dad always made sure, like, it was school time, so he always made sure like we had clothes and always made sure like we were fed. It was the best time. Like, one of my uncles had owned a taller. If you don't know what a taller is, it's like a car shop, and he would also rent like jumpers and chairs for parties. And those times were the best times. Like, you know when you're a kid and you have like mocos running down your nose, and like your shoes are all jacked up, and you're all dirty, and like the best time. I wish I can go back and just like enjoy those memories while they lasted, because I feel like it got taken away from me so freaking soon. I wish I grew up more with my cousins. It's just harder to connect now because like I'm 24 now, like I'm older, my cousins are older, everyone's like figuring out their own life. But it was the best time. Like, if I can go back and explain, like, those years were like chef's kiss. Like, love those years. This was around like 2006, 2009. Like, this is like this time frame. So co-parenting started. So fast forwarding into 2009, my mom had lost the apartment that we grew up in. We had nowhere to go, and at that time I believe I was in, I want to say middle school. I was already in middle school, and it was so hard. Like, In middle school, I feel like is such a hard time as a kid because you're figuring out your stuff. One, you're going through puberty. Two, there's like mean kids all around you, including like yourself. Like I was a mean kid. I feel like at some point I was like not a mean kid, but I just feel like I did stupid shit that shouldn't have been done, or like I opened my mouth and said something to a kid without realizing what I said because I was a kid myself, you know? Middle school age is a lot to go through. One, alone, like going to middle school, and then two, having to deal with stuff at home, like let alone being homeless. Like that's a lot to deal with as a kid. Like it was very traumatizing for me, but I wouldn't change it for the world because I feel like that's what made me me, and I'm grateful for that. It's like a blessing and a curse. But yeah, we lost our apartment, and that same year in 2009, that's when my dad got deported. And I'll get into more details on how that happened. We ended up moving in with my dad because we lost the apartment, so my dad had that little room for rent. So we just ended up moving in with my dad. My mom was like just trying to figure her stuff out, like trying to get us out of that situation. But I think like living the few months that we did with my dad after we lost the apartment was hard for everyone because it was toxic. Like they were in a toxic relationship, ended the toxic relationship, then we needed to go back into like them being together. Like when I say us, like me and my brother, like them having to come back together. So it was like a lot to handle. But I mean, when you're freaking homeless, like you have to do what you have to do, especially with kids. Like you have to do what you have to do. My mom, me, and my little brother ended up moving out of the room with him just because the situation wasn't working. Like it wasn't working. There was arguments, fighting. Like it was just bad. So we never got an apartment. We ended up moving in with my grandma to my grandma's house, which she lives in an apartment, 1 bedroom. It was hard. Like it was really hard being the person I am. It was like I didn't talk about this stuff at school. I don't think anyone talked about their stuff at school. Ended up moving back. Well, my mom ended us moving us back with my grandma, which she lives here in the valley. But we moved back out here with her for a little bit. My mom was just trying to get back on her feet so like she can get us out of the situation we were in. We didn't have money, like, you know, she was trying to figure it out. My mom continued co-parenting with us, and I guess one weekend, like, she tried to reach out to him, but like my dad, like, he lost himself, and I want him to tell his side of the story just so that, you know, he feels comfortable telling. Like, I want to know, like, I haven't talked to my dad in so long, so I don't even know what thoughts were running through his mind and emotions he was going through and like mental battles he was dealing with at the time. I'm honored to even have that privilege to even like get to talk to him about these things, because like who wouldn't want to know, like, why? Like when you get older you start to understand, like, okay, you did this and I get it, but like why, you know? And it just builds up a stronger connection. So one night I guess my mom was like trying to call my dad, like, okay, like, when are you gonna pick up the kids, like, or what time should I drop them off at? And no answer. Like, my dad didn't answer, and my mom was worried, like, what the fuck? Like, they still loved each other. I'm sure they still loved each other. Like, when you have kids with someone, I don't have kids with anyone, or I don't have kids in general, but like I feel like when you have kids with someone, how do you just like let them go? Like, how do you just, like, you know, not care for them? Like, that's, like, either the father or the mother of your child. Like, you guys worked together. You guys did what you got to do to bring your child into this world. Like, how do you just forget about someone like that, you know? Like, you don't have to be in a relationship with them, but, like, you care about them. They're your friends. Like, what? Yeah. So that happened. And he, like, so my mom was, like, trying to call him, like, hey, when are you going to pick up the kids? Or should I drop them off? Whatever, right? No answer. My mom's like, no, this is weird. This is not like him. Like, this is weird. Like, something's going on. And I guess my dad was so deep into, like, being an alcoholic. Like, I guess he had gotten beat up. My mom was freaking out. I was already, like, 9 years old or, like, 10 years old. My mom's like, something happened to your dad, blah, blah. And she would tell us stuff because, like, that's just the type of mom my mom is. Like, she would keep us in the loop, you know? And she's like, something happened to your dad. Like, so we went to the hospital, and I remember I didn't want to go in the room to see my dad. Like, he got fucked up, and I didn't want to see that because it's like, that's my dad. Like, that's my dad, you know? It's really sad. Like, girl, not me getting emotional, it was just really sad, I guess. Like, growing up like that, you know, like having a parent who was in alcohol or like an addiction. It's sad because like you want to help them, but like you're so little, like you don't know, like, how do I help him? Like, what do I, you know? I feel so like powerless. So my dad just spiraled after that. Like, he just spiraled out of control. Woo! I like don't want to cry on the internet, but I feel like it's very important for me to talk about my journey, especially like documenting it, because this is like a big thing for me. Like, not seeing my dad after 14 years is gonna be like, girl, I'm telling you, there's like a lot of trauma. I feel like that's why I wanted this to be my first video, because I want you guys not only to like relate to me, but also like, this is the truth, like this is the reality, and like I'm okay. It's just like, it's a lot of emotions, you know? But I don't want pittiness. Like, I just want other people to know that they're not alone. Like, we're all more connected than it may seem. Just know that you're not alone, and I'm not alone, because of people out there who struggle just like me or have gone through similar things like me. Just at that point, like, I already knew what was going on. Like, I knew everything. I was young, but like I knew things I shouldn't have known. But what can you do? My mom had talked to him, I guess, after he had gotten beat up, like, dude, this isn't the life for you. Like, are you really want this? But I think he was just so deep into like his own stuff. He was like, girl, in one ear, out the other. He ended up getting caught because he was drinking and driving. My mom got a phone call from jail, like, hey, I'm in jail, like, for drinking and driving. My mom instantly knew. And the last time I saw my dad was in a jail cell. I just remember being sad but not understanding. Like, I didn't quite understand, like, okay, like, he's gonna get deported. But like, I knew through the jail cell, he was like, it's gonna be okay. Like, he didn't want to I think he did cry, and I cried too. And I personally felt like I was very attached to my dad. Felt like I had a deeper connection with my dad than what I realized I did. He was in jail, and I just remember like putting my hand out on the glass and just being like, I love you so much, Dad. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, we're gonna figure it out. And after that, I didn't hear from my dad for like a while, like months. And I was a kid, so like I was living my life, like, you know, like my toys, my friends, you know, until like he started reaching out to my mom through a little prepaid phone, and they would talk. This is where shit goes crazy, because in my mind, I was so young, but I felt like I kind of knew what to do. Like, okay, like if he got deported, like I would look up like how to bring someone deported back to the United States, and like they would say like, oh, you know, the green card and all this stuff. And I would be like, okay, cool. Like, so I had like this mindset, like, I'm gonna bring my dad back when I turn 18. Like, when I turn 18, I can bring him back. Like, I can figure out a way. Not really knowing how to do it, you know, but it was in my mind, like, I'm gonna do it at a young age, like 10 years old, 11, 12, like trying to figure this out. Like, girl, I really thought I was Superwoman. Like, I really thought. And we started talking to him, and it was crazy. Like, my mom and dad would talk, blah, blah, blah. And then, this is where the drama fucking starts. One of my uncle's wife called my mom telling her, hey, you know that he got someone pregnant, right? Like, he's gonna have kids. Bitch, I was like, so my mom didn't tell us. She didn't tell us nothing. Like, she didn't say like this and this is happening. So I was clueless to this up until my mom kind of like was like, okay guys, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what? And my mom's like, you know, he got someone pregnant out there. Like, he has someone pregnant. He's gonna have a kid. What do you mean? I was heartbroken. I think I was like 12 or 13 years old. I was freaking heartbroken. You know why? Because, like I said before, I had a mindset, like, I'm gonna bring him back. Like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna bring him back. So, I remember this phone call so specifically. We talk on the phone and I pressed the situation. I was like, so, you got someone pregnant? I'm 12, 13. I'm like, so you got someone pregnant? I was pissed on the phone. And he's like, yeah, mija. Like, my dad never lied to us. Like, he never, like, you know, he was straight up. He was like, I did. And I was like, so you're not coming back? And I started bawling because I was like, so I thought you were going to come back. Like, I thought you were going to come back to us, you know? And he's like, I can't. Like, I can't. Like, I have another family now. Like, you know? And I was so angry at that time. Like, why? How could you? Like, you know, I thought we were your only family. Like, you know, you betrayed us. But shit fucking happens. Shit happens. I eventually got over it. And little by little, as time proceeded, now turning 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Like, we would talk on the phone like every other month, 3 months. Fast forwarding to now, in the past 2 years, I want to say, my dad has been in communication with me very frequently via Instagram. And we would communicate through Instagram every other week, every other weekend, you know. My dad would call. And he started asking me, like, when are you going to come visit? Like, when are you going to come? When are you going to come? When are you going to come? And I was like, just imagine little Janice going to go through everything she went through with her parents, finally having to face that trauma. I was just scared. Like, girl, I was scared. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to even, you know, but I did because, like, I wanted to see my dad. I honestly lagged getting my passport. Like, I never had a reason to have a passport. When I would go on trips with my friends, we would just drive places like Arizona, Big Bear, Yosemite, or like things like that. I never had to go out the country. I never had a reason to. Especially being that young, like, I'm not gonna be 15 going on a cruise, you know? We didn't have that kind of money, babe. We were broke. When I tell you broke, in high school, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with 6 people and a dog. Bitch, we were broke. Mentally, I wasn't evolved as much as I am now because, like, God has held me down. Like, God has held me down. We're only going up from here. And this not only goes for me, but this goes for you. If you're watching this and you're watching me, I just want you to know that whatever you're going through, you're gonna bounce the fuck back. I didn't want to get a fucking passport. I was scared. And I would, like, my dad would call me and sometimes I'd be like, no, I don't want to answer. Like, I'm just scared. I'm scared. Because I knew the time was coming. I was like, oh, I'm not ready. But then talking more about it with my loved ones and just, like, opening up a little bit more about it, I'm comfortable now to, like, venture out. Like, life is too short. I think that's what hit me. Like, I was like, life is really too short. So I ended up going to the Van Nuys post office and I didn't have an appointment. If you're looking to get your passport, please make an appointment because I was there for like 4 hours. I got it and then I told my dad, like, he was walking me through it, like, okay, now that you have your passport, let's get your, oh my god, I'm gonna make my eyebrows blonde. I've never done this. He was like, let's get your ticket, like, no rush, you know. He kind of understood, like, my situation. He was like, okay, like, when you get your money right, like, try to get a ticket. So, bitch, recently, like, a couple days ago, not too long ago, I bought a freaking plane ticket to El Salvador. I'm scared, girl, but, you know, it's gonna happen. It was bound to happen. I'm ready. Like, I feel like I'm at a point in my life where, like, Miss Girl, it's now or never. I'm happy I'm talking about this stuff because I want the memories, like, oh my god, this is really happening and I was scared for so long just to do it. If you're someone out there who is in a similar situation as me, just do it. Just do it. What do you have to lose? If you're really like, fuck, I don't want to do this, you don't have to. But if you're someone who like had a relationship like my dad, like you want to know deeper stuff, like do it. Just do it. Just fucking do it. I highly recommend doing it. I now have a plane ticket. I'm ready. I'm ready to go not only see my dad after 14 years, but to go visit my homeland. I want to know like about my culture, where my blood comes from. I want to meet my dad's side of the family. Like I want to go explore the world. Like I want to just go try new things, try new foods, try new experiences, and I'm so ready for it. Like I am so ready, and I'm excited for this new journey that is happening. And I'm also very thankful for like all of my people around me, because honestly it's been a hard fight. Like everything that I've been through, like to get to where I'm at now, like it's not been easy. It's been hard. If you know, you know. But I just want everyone to know we're all going through changes, and you're not alone. Like you are so not alone. I don't want anyone to feel like, you know, like nothing is possible. Anything is possible. Like you literally just have to put your mind to it. Like jot it down, like journal it. Like I was really scared, but then I was like, why am I scared? Like why am I scared to go see him? Like I'm gonna have to do it. If I don't do it now, I will never do it. I think that was the best piece of advice like I gave myself. The only thing is that I am going on the plane by myself to El Salvador, so I am scared. This is gonna be like my first time traveling alone. This is my second time on an airplane. I've only been on an airplane one other time, and that was when I was going to Seattle, and I was going with my aunt and my boyfriend, and I felt safe. But I'm ready with the faith of God. I know everything's gonna work out the way it's supposed to. So I'm really excited. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna see my dad. Now you guys see what the hype is about. Like, you guys got to hear a little bit of my story and just how we're all equally the same, in a sense where like I've been through shit. Like obviously I have my days where I'm really sad, but I am really positive. I always look at things on the brighter side. That's the way to do it. Like growing up, I feel like no one ever really looked at it on the brighter side. Like I just thought to myself like, we'll figure it out, you know? But yeah, I'm just like, I feel like it's unreal, especially with everything that I have going on in my life currently. I just feel like it's so unreal. Like I can't believe this is happening, but I'm excited that it's happening. Okay, but this makeup look is beating. I love this. I love makeup. If you guys have questions about like my story, let me know. Don't be scared to like ask me or like comment, because this is an open space. We're all friends now, okay? We're not judging. This is a judgment-free zone. We don't judge each other. You guys are my friends. And if you're not my friend, well, babe, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Come on, stop playing. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with the player. Please don't play with me. I'm really beating my face for you guys. Like, I'm going in. Okay, let me do my liner really quick. I'll be back. Give me a minute.
So for my lip liner, I use the shade Cork by MAC. And to fill in the lip liner, I use NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London. The best.
I'm gonna do my hair off camera, but I am gonna be right back. Okay guys, I did my hair off camera. I put on a little bodysuit. I just want to say thank you guys for listening to my story. Just starting this journey with me of so many exciting blessings that are coming my way, advice and friendships that I'm gonna build through this YouTube channel, lives that I'm gonna change through this YouTube channel. I'm just super excited for this new journey in my life. I've wanted this for as long as I can remember. I've always wanted to do YouTube and just inspire just everyone out there that you are not alone. Like, there is so much to this world than just your little city that you've been in. For me, it's the valley. Like, there's so much more than the valley, and I want you guys to know that any sacrifices, any struggles that you guys are going through, and battles that you guys are dealing with mentally, like, we're all going through it. You're not alone, and if I can do it, you can definitely do it. I'm just so thankful for you guys watching this video. I'm excited for you guys to see my journey with my dad. It's been 14 years. I'm super nervous, but I think I'm ready. I'm ready for this new journey. Well, I hope you guys enjoy my video. Please like, comment, share. Follow me on my Instagram. I'll have everything right here. Follow my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter. Twitter, I'm not really active, but follow me on all my platforms. I'm so excited for this new journey. I hope you guys enjoy my video, and I will see you guys soon.